Hi there, welcome. Hope everything is going well your way. Today I am going to share with you some new makeup products and a tool that I have purchased pretty much throughout the end of 2019 and into the beginning of 2020. Basically, I hit the Sephora VIB sale, picked up a lot of items, and I've been really loving everything that I'm going to share with you today. If I purchase something and it doesn't work for me or I don't like it, I am someone who sends it back with no regret. So whenever I share products or items with you here on YouTube, they are things that I use daily or pretty close to it and I love because I don't keep anything that I do not love or does not serve me or my look or what my objective or goals are. Anything that I share with you today that I am wearing, I will indicate that, but always remember in the drop down box below all of my YouTube videos, I do share all my outfit and beauty details. They are always there. Very detailed when it comes to that. You can always click on the top link to get to the corresponding blog post and get all the information there as well. It's always easier to shop on the blog. So let's get started with the very first item. This was actually sent to me and it's not actually a makeup product, but I love it and I've been using it every day on my lips while I'm doing my makeup. So I like to keep my lips nice and hydrated. And let me just say that I have several different lip care products. I have a lip care product next to my bed. I have a lip care product in my handbag. I always love my Nivea Milk and Honey. That's always on me. But this was, well, actually this came in a box that was a Christmas gift from my photographer. She had gotten me, I believe it was the Derm Store box. This came in it and I love it. I love the feel of it and how it really keeps my lip moisturized. So I put it on in the morning and I have it on while I'm doing my makeup. It's the PCA Skin Hyaluronic Acid Lip Booster. The next product that I want to share kind of has a little bit of a funny story to it. So this is by Clinique. Dual base for eyes. This is in 10 canvas. This is the very first eyeshadow primer I ever used. It was the first time I was even introduced to using a shadow primer. I want to say I was probably in my late teens or early 20s, went to the Clinique counter because I was a big Clinique shopper initially, like in high school. I even was on their skincare step. Number 4 because of the oily skin. But I had my makeup done one time. They used this canvas and I remember loving it, and for years this is what I would always repurchase. Well, I don't know how I stumbled across it online like towards the end of last year, and I was like, gosh, I really remember loving that. So I ordered it and I've just been loving it since. I don't know why I ever got away from it. It's funny how we do that. We'll love something, but then we're always just so eager to try something else, or we hear about something and then we go off the beaten path and go against what we love just to try something new. But I'm so glad that I revisited this because I really do love it. Had 3 foundations come into my arsenal towards the end of 2019 and into 2020. Rave reviews on all of them, but I want to share the differences between all of them. The first one is the SMASHBOX Studio Skin Full Coverage 24-Hour Foundation, but who would ever keep their makeup on for 24 hours has got me. This is in the shade 2.3, which is light medium. This is a great foundation if you want really, really full coverage. I'm talking really full coverage. So I don't know if this would work for everyone. I haven't used it recently because it's a little dark for my skin. If I am self-tanning, this is perfect, but it is going to give you a very full coverage, believe me. Another foundation that is not going to give you full coverage is the Kat Von D True Portrait Liquid to Powder Foundation, shade medium 048. Perfect shade for me. A little bit darker than the next foundation I'm going to share, but still a great shade. I don't think I would go with a different shade for this one. Yeah, it serves me well, but it is just a slight bit darker than what I'm wearing today. This is great. This is going to be a much different consistency than the SMASHBOX. This is not going to be your super thick, or, well, how do I put it? Because it covers well, but it's not like a full coverage, but yet it covers well. So I just recommend it if you're someone who doesn't like a real thick consistency. You want something a little bit thinner, but you want it to really even out your skin and cover up your imperfections. This will do the job. The one I am wearing today, and this is a great one as well. This is such a perfect color for me. It's by SHISEIDO. It's the SYNCHRO Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation. Oil-free. I believe all of these are oil-free, and they may all have an SPF in them. I'm not really sure. The shade that I have is 310 Silk. This is going to definitely be more of a cool to neutral undertone, which is what I am, so it's so perfect. This is not going to be as lightweight as the Kat Von D, but it certainly is not going to be thick. It's still very liquidy, but boy, really been loving this one as well. And right now, with not having any tan whatsoever or any color to my skin, with it being the winter months and so gray here in Michigan, this has kind of been my go-to. I traveled recently though, and I had taken the True Portrait with me. New concealer that came into the arsenal because I was in need of an under eye concealer. I had been using the Kat Von D Locket, I believe it's called. This one here is the Giorgio Armani fabric, whatever, everything will be written. Shade 4. This has been great. If you are a more mature lady and you worry about the lines under the eye and you don't want that thick consistency that's going to settle in those lines, this is a thinner consistency, blends extremely well, but gives you the coverage that you are looking for. I love this shade, and this has really been a great one. I probably will repurchase this when it is out. Moving on to a contour stick that has really been rocking my world. Now, not everyone would need a contour stick. I've been loving it for a couple different purposes. Well, and number one, I'm in film. So when you are in front of a camera and you have the lights on you, makeup is a little different than everyday makeup. If I had a job where I worked outside of the home and had to go into the office, well, I wouldn't put the time in for the makeup that I do on a day that I film. On the other hand, days that I film, because I'm very good about my schedule, I schedule my filming days on days that I do need to be a little bit more dressed up. I may be going to dinner, I may have an event, I may have something to attend. So I plan out my filming days that way. So they are days that I really do put the effort in when it comes to my makeup. Contour stick is awesome. How I found out about this, which is actually by, you know, you would have thought I would have done my homework. No, didn't do it. Oh my goodness. Burberry. Burberry. Everything will be linked and the descriptions will be here. Let me just share about my nose. Who shares about their nose? I do, because I share it all. I don't have a bad nose. I have a small nose, and my nose is not anything I have ever complained about. But it is a little off center towards the end. So I do contour the sides of my nose. Now, most people that contour the sides of their nose do it to slim their nose because they have a big nose. Again, I don't have that problem, but because when it gets down to the end, it's not straight, my contouring will give the illusion that it is straighter. I also like to, let me get a little bit of a mirror so I can kind of see what I'm doing. So I also like to create a little bit of a point when you get down to the end of my nose. So I may go like here and work it like that, and here, and then just down at the bottom. So what happens is I give the illusion, and bear in mind, we should all know this by now, but contouring is to give illusion. It's to work to your advantage. It's not to pack on a product to be visible. It's to give illusion of shadow. So that's what I'm loving about the contour stick. What happens is I start up here and I come down into and create more of a straight line here where my nose is a little off, and then I give it a nice point, and I really like the effect that it is giving me. Then I take a brush with a little bit of powder on it and I make sure it's blended, and then I also take my NARS Ita brush and blend it out as well, just to kind of thicken it in this area. So I've really been loving this. Another thing that I love this for is you can create the illusion of more plump or larger lips by going underneath your lip line, making sure you blend it out, and then above your lip line as well. And that will give the illusion of a much prettier pout if that is something that interests you. Again, this is not something I would say everyone needs to do. But if you want to give an illusion of something with a certain feature on your face, this contour stick would be a great thing to pick up, because boy, it works well. And how I found out about it was I watched a video that Lisa Eldridge did where she did Victoria Beckham's makeup, and Victoria Beckham pulled this out of her makeup case and basically said she can't be without it, and then she showed how she used it, and of course I had to have it. I love Victoria Beckham. Okay, moving on. Well, I may as well show you a couple shadow palettes that I picked up. Really love this Smoke Show by ColourPop. This came out, sold out because the reviews were so good on it, so now you have to get it on eBay, but I will have some links to it. This is going to be a cool tone. If you are a warm toned person, this palette is not for you. It is not going to pair well with your skin tone. If you are cool toned, this is going to look great on you. Another palette, love this. Such a pricey palette though. The Natasha Denona Safari palette. I can't tell you how many times in 2019 I looked at this palette when I was inside Sephora, and then I finally pulled the trigger when Sephora sent, I believe it was a 20% off one-time purchase. It was towards the end of the year before the holidays. The reason that I love this palette so much is it has a combination of cool and warm tones. It's so hard to find cool tone eyeshadows, and I look better with cool tone. I can use some warm just to warm it up, but I love cool tone shadows on me, and they are so hard to find. Same issue with lipsticks. Let me just show you too, if you can see without me getting a glare. I packed this palette with me on a recent trip to Austin, Texas, and it got broke, and I was so bummed because what a great mirror. What a great mirror. I was like, no, I'm so bummed. Anyway, it happens. All is fine. I don't tend to use the mirrors in there anyway because I'm not generally doing my makeup on the road. But these four shadows right here are all cool tone, and I've been wearing them a lot. So if you've seen any videos where you can tell I'm wearing some cool tones, there's a good chance it could have been one of these four. But the other shades are great as well. I've even pulled out some really warm shades and had some people compliment me on Instagram stories. I'm pretty good with makeup, so although I'm not a warm toned person, when you're good at makeup, you have a tendency to be able to make it look good even if you're not sticking in your color family. Today I am actually wearing this shade right here. It's called Shay. That's Carly's middle name, Shay, Carly Shay, spelled the same way. And this shadow right here is basically right up here. That's where I have it. And I use the brush that I am showing you right now, which is another repurchase I should share. But yeah, right there. So why don't we go into the brush? So those are the two palettes. This is the brush. It is the MAC 217S. Let me share, with this brush, I had it years ago. I have a feeling one of the girls borrowed it, picked it up, and they have it now. And I always loved it because if you have a smaller eye, as I do, or a smaller crease, this is really going to get in there, and it's not going to pack too much powder too high or too low. So it's just perfect because it fits in your crease perfectly. It's like it was designed for that purpose. So I would say it's a crease brush, but love it. Again, MAC 217S. I'm so glad that I re-picked this up. Let's see. I picked up a new bronzer and highlight. Now, don't get me wrong. I still love my SMASHBOX, and I actually have 2 of those, but there's 3 items that come in the SMASHBOX contour and highlight palette, and I've used up certain products in each one. And that's so frustrating when that happens. But I wanted to try the Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Duo. There is a big set with all of the shades of the Shade and Light Contour, but I don't need all of the shades. I have no reason to buy that whole entire set. This is Lucid and Sombre, and really been loving this. This is what I'm using today as my contour and my highlight. It is more powdery, so when you take your brush in it, you are going to have powder flying around. I will say that if that really bothers you, you may not like this, but it really applies well. You don't need a lot. You don't need a heavy hand. Love it, would repurchase it for sure, but still love my SMASHBOX as well. We have a couple mascaras that I brought into the library, the makeup library this year. This is the Marc Jacobs. Oh, I don't know which one it is. It'll be linked. Been great. I've been loving this. I found out about this from a YouTuber as well, and I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos, but really great mascara. Love it. This is another mascara that I used to use way back in the day for the lower lash line. I don't always put mascara on my lower lash line. You would have gotten to see that, I think, in my last makeup tutorial. This is the MAC Extended Play GIGABLACKLASH. Love this. Black, I guess, is the color, but this is great because it has a small spoolie to apply your mascara for the lower lash line. So these are both great products. I do have my Tarte Lights Camera Action Mascara. I've been loving that as well, and sometimes I will use both. I'll use the Marc Jacobs as well as the Tarte on the same day because I do a couple applications. And then I have a blush here, very cool tone. So if you're a warm tone beauty, I wouldn't get this one, but it's Clinique. And it is Cheek Pop in the color 15 Pansy Pop. Again, very, very cool tone. Not wearing it today. I have a Burberry blush on today, and don't forget everything I'm wearing will be linked. But this is a great blush for me, and I've really been loving it. I still love my Jouer Coquette Blush Duo. I wear that all the time. You probably see it linked all the time. All right, I believe I shared all of the new products that I've been using on repeat with you today. Did I use any other shadows? Oh, I did use one other shadow in the Safari palette. I used the Malia, which would be this shade right here as my highlight. But I've been using a lot of these, so there you go. New makeup products. If you're in the market, check them out. Don't forget everything will be linked down below as well as on the blog post. Don't forget to watch my recent videos. Just did one on things that a confident woman does and things that she does not do. So you'll want to check that out, and I will see you very soon in the next video, and thank you for joining me. Take care.